Robert Reich, writing at his blog site, I got to share this with you. He asked some very serious questions about what's going to happen if and when Sanders' campaign does not secure the nomination on the Democratic side. What's going to happen? And which leads to the question, will Sanders supporters get behind Hillary if she gets the nomination? And by the same token, if Trump is denied the Republican nomination because of this desperate effort by the dregs of the Republican Party to deny him it, will his supporters back whoever gets the Republican nomination? Reich says if 2008 is any guide, the answer is unambiguously yes to both. About 90% of people who backed Hillary Clinton in the Democratic primaries that year ended up supporting Obama in the general election. About the same percent of Mike Huckabee and Mitt Romney backers came around to supporting John McCain. He says, but 2008 may not be a good guide to the 2016 election, whose most conspicuous feature is furious antipathy to the political establishment. If Hillary Clinton is perceived to have won the Democratic primary because of insider so-called superdelegates and contests closed to independents, it may confirm for hardcore Sanders supporters that the systemic political corruption Sanders has been railing against is right there in front of their faces. Similarly, if the Republicans end up nominating someone other than Trump, who has not attracted nearly the votes that he has, it could be viewed as proof of Trump's argument that the Republican Party is corrupt. Many Sanders supporters will gravitate to Hillary Clinton nonetheless out of repulsion toward the Republican candidate, especially if it's Trump. But unlike previous elections, a good number of people may simply decide to sit out the election because of their even greater repulsion toward politics as usual and the conviction that it's rigged by the establishment for its own benefit. That conviction wasn't present in the 2008 election. It emerged later, starting in the 2008 financial crisis, when the government bailed out the biggest Wall Street banks while letting underwater homeowners drown. Then came the Supreme Court decision in 2010 in Citizens United, releasing a torrent of money into American politics. That was followed by a lopsided economic recovery, most of whose gains have gone to the top. As a result of all this, many Americans have connected the dots in ways they didn't in 2008. They see crony capitalism in special tax loopholes for the rich, in government subsidies and loan guarantees for favored corporations, bankruptcy relief for the wealthy, but not for distressed homeowners or student debtors, leniency toward corporations amassing market power, but not for workers seeking to increase their bargaining power through unions, and trade deals protecting the intellectual property and assets of American corporations abroad, but not the jobs or incomes of American workers. Last fall, Reich goes on, when on book tour in the nation's heartland, I kept finding people trying to make up their minds in the upcoming election between Sanders and Trump. They saw one or the other as their champion. Sanders, the political revolutionary who'd reclaim power from the privileged few. Trump, the authoritarian strongman who'd wrest power back from an establishment that's usurped it. The people I encountered told me the moneyed interests couldn't buy off Sanders because he wouldn't take their money, and they couldn't buy off Trump because he didn't need their money. And now, 6 months later, the political establishment has fought back, and Sanders' prospects for taking the Democratic nomination are dimming. Trump may well win the Republican mantle, but not without a brawl. As I said, I expect most Sanders backers will still support Hillary Clinton if she's the nominee. And even if Trump doesn't get the Republican nod, most of his backers will go with whoever the Republican candidate turns out to be. But anyone who assumes a wholesale transfer of loyalty from Sanders supporters to Clinton may be in for a surprise. The anti-establishment fury the election of 2016 may prove greater than supposed. Robert Reich at his blog site. And that's what I have lately been thinking about, too. I mean, we've talked, you and I, about I cannot vote for Hillary Clinton, just generically speaking. We, he, she cannot vote for Hillary Clinton. And writing in Jill Stein or somebody else is an exercise in futility. It really is. It just is. I wish it weren't, but it is. Protest votes aren't worth the powder to blow them to hell. They really aren't. I know, seriously. They may make the person who makes the protest vote feel, well, I'm registering my disgust with the system. Okay, fine. But it doesn't have an effect on how the country is going to be run. So what to do? What to do?